nachem nikogda, as we say in Russian. Better late than never. One of my only Russian phrases I know. All right. All right. Live. Oops. All right. Hold on. Got to put a new title in. Latest crisis. All right. Live goal. Hey guys, sorry. I created the room late on YouTube. I apologize for that. Give me a second here. La, 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 la. What am I doing? We need a Pride gift. Oh, I get a Chinese app. I was going to say TikTok doesn't have a Pride gift. What a surprise. Certainly not one that's affordable. That's a little annoying, actually. How do they not have a Pride? I'm going to do colorful wings. That looks pridey to me. Looks pridey to me. All right. Go live. Here we go. Good evening, Jens. All right. Mirror your video. Boom. All right. That works. Hello, all. Sasha, you coming in or what? Well, come in. What are you doing? She's just like looking at me like she needs permission to come inside or something. I have no idea what that was. It was just like she's looking at me. I'm like, come on. Oh, my God. Anyway, yes, my Russian bus driver. Exactly. Hey, Edsel. Good to see you. Oh, TikTok crashed. Ooh, TikTok did that thing where it crashes again. I may have to reboot my iPad. Hold on. Usually it remembers, though. When I say live, resume live. All right. That was a little weird. Mirror my video. All right. That was a little TikTok crashed. Maybe you guys didn't notice, but on my end it crashed, but it came back. That was a little weird. TikTok's back. It was crashing, but it's fine now. I was just saying hi to Edsel and it crashed. It didn't like you, Edsel. Anyway, that was very weird. You've been arguing with your MAGA family? Yeah. Probably not a good thing. Thank you, Laddie, for the gift. No, the app crashed. But the good thing with TikTok is when it crashes, it literally, I started again and it says, do you want to resume the live? Which is nice. It knows to resume. Thank you, Smurf and Hannah, as well for the gifts there. There was also Laddie, exactly. Mark Star. Anyway, so welcome, guys. I got started a little late on YouTube, so actually the YouTubers are showing up. That's good. Thank you, Hannah, Neil, Jen. So welcome, guys. I'm John Aravosis. We do our daily show here. The mic is plugged in. Mic's plugged in. Let me unplug and replug for TikTok. All right. I unplugged and replugged. Let's see if that sounds any better on TikTok. Let me see here. TikTokers, la 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 la. Yeah, it should be. Also, the way you can tell that the mic is working is when I do this. If it gets softer when I move it away, that means the mic is working. All right. See, they say I sound great, Manda. So there. Anyway. All right, guys. So welcome. I'm John Aravosis. This is our show. We talk about the latest news from Ukraine. We also talk about the latest news from Washington, D.C., America. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Chazak, for the gifts. I will start. Yeah, maybe it was being weird. TikTok also doesn't like my microphone sometimes at the beginning. It's not clear why. Thank you, Gia. Thank you, Smurf. So, yeah, let's start with the Washington news, and then we'll switch over to the Ukraine news. Do keep the gifts coming. I always sort of hit you guys up for this, but I do this for a living. Your gifts pay my bills. So please keep them coming if you would. I would appreciate it. Let's get rolling. So very interesting. Trump has his big signature legislation he's trying to get passed through the Congress. It's passed the House, gone to the Senate, might be another month before the Senate either does or doesn't pass it. It's Trump's big bill that has his massive tax cut, $4.7 trillion, huge tax cut. The bill is going to add $3 trillion to the national debt. It's so expensive. It's so big. The Republicans are cutting some money, but they're adding so much more money. Trump's tax cuts alone are nearly $5 trillion. It's hard to even imagine what kind of money that is. Now, the budget itself is typically like $6 trillion. So it's $5 trillion over 10 years. But it will add $3 trillion to the deficit. All the analysts say that. And now we have Elon Musk saying it. Elon is on the warpath. absolutely on the warpath. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Heather, for the gifts. Um, he had already previously come out. I think last night I talked about it with Elon came out and opposed the bill. And now he's gone nuts. And Trump apparently is getting pissed off. Oh, was that the dog on the couch? I think I saw a little. Yes. Hi. You okay there? You guys can't tell. She's looking at me. That was the head. You couldn't tell that. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, I like that. Oh, that was cool. Thank you, Cindy. That was very cool. Thank God I caught it. I was just looking away for a second. The galaxy globe. It's like a globe that opens up to become the galaxy. Thank you for that. That was a very cool gift. Thank you for that a lot. Anyway, I was laughing at the dog because she was popping her head up over the couch, like right there, and like staring at me. Give like the look of, possessed evil. So thank you, Running, for the gift as well. So Elon is on a tear today trying to kill the bill. This is Trump's signature legislation. It's Trump's big piece. It's his big, he calls it his one big, beautiful bill. It has his massive tax cuts for the rich. Thank you, Big Hawk. He's kicking millions off of health insurance. What was the number? 16, actually, Congressional Budget Office, which is the nonpartisan independent body that analyzes all the bills for Congress. They work for Congress. They're independent. They're not Republican or Democrat. They just said that Trump's bill is going to kick 16 million Americans off of their insurance. They're going to lose health insurance. It's not great. Elon is pissed because Trump's bill is going to add massive amounts to the deficit, actually to the deficit and the debt. The debt is going to be $3 trillion more. The deficit is going to be huge. The other problem is because of the economic mess this is going to cause, it's increase, and Trump is already increasing interest rates. When interest rates go up, the amount of money we have to pay on interest for our debt goes up too. So they're talking the interest we pay annually on the debt is like almost $700 billion with a B. It's going up to 800 or 900 billion soon. They're afraid it's going to hit $1 trillion or more. We're talking a year having to pay $1 trillion in interest on our debt a year. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of money. So Elon yesterday tweets, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." He's talking about Donald Trump's signature legislation. Okay, thank you, Larissa. Today, Elon tweets in response to his earlier tweet. Oh, and thank you, Goro, for the subscribing. "It will massively increase the already gigantic budget deficit to $2.5 trillion and burden American citizens with crushingly unsustainable debt. Call your senator, call your congressman. Bankrupting America is not okay. Kill the bill." Elon then did several tweets about kill the bill and this kind of stuff. Then he retweeted a claim that an independent analysis shows the bill does not reduce the deficit. The Republicans are lying. It's true. They are lying. And claiming the bill is going to reduce the deficit. It doesn't. Elon retweeted an analysis that shows the bill is actually going to increase the debt and the deficit. He's trying to kill the bill. Interesting because Elon, of course, and Donald Trump were like this. Elon got Donald Trump elected. I mean, it's kind of choice for Elon to sit here and say, "Oh my, the guy I elected who said he was going to break the bank, the guy I elected who said he was going to do these tax cuts just did these tax cuts. And they're breaking the bank." Yeah, Elon, you knew that. You elected him knowing he was going to do this. Thank you, Visionary Girl. He knew he was, at two Brute. I know. Elon knew Trump was going to do this. So Elon should have thought of that before he spent $300 million electing Trump. Thank you, Jess. Wall Street Journal just came out with a story. This was the first paragraph of the Wall Street Journal story. "President Trump is losing patience with Elon Musk after the billionaire attacked Republicans' sprawling tax and spending bill. Musk is irked about Trump's decision to withdraw the nomination of a key ally to lead NASA. The result is a fraying relationship between two of the world's most powerful men. A senior White House official said Trump wasn't happy about Musk's decision to lambaste Trump's signature legislation, describing the president as confused as to why the Tesla chief decided to ratchet up his criticism after working so closely with the president for 4 months. The official said senior Trump advisors were caught off guard by Musk's latest offensive." Well, he's kind of crazy. I mean, look, we're dealing with two crazy people, right? This is like saying Donald Trump, like you saddled up to Donald Trump and you're surprised that Donald Trump did something crazy. And you saddled up to Elon Musk and you're surprised that Elon Musk did something crazy. Really? Really? Did something weird, wacky, like he's on another plane of existence? Elon? I mean, right? Really? This surprises you? Not you, of course, but this surprises people. This is great, by the way. This is absolutely freaking great. I mean, the richest man in the world is now openly at war pretty much with the president of the United States, with Donald Trump. That's great. I mean, Elon and Trump together was dangerous. Elon versus Trump is delicious. This is great, at least at this point, because here's the thing. The more Elon starts doing this, the angrier Trump is going to get, and Trump won't be able to come back from that anger, right? And hopefully the Trump people, thank you, Smurfit, hopefully the Trump people will do something stupid like these comments in the paper to piss Elon off, hopefully. But this is great. This is great. Have them keep fighting, right? This only helps the rest of us. If Elon and Trump are fighting, it means they're getting distracted and undermined from doing evil, which Elon did a lot of evil. Bill Gates said that Elon literally killed children in Africa. I blame Tesla as well. He's their guy. They let him do this, right? I mean, he should have been running Tesla. They gave him time off to go, as Bill Gates said, kill children in Africa. So Tesla's to blame as well here. Any case, very interesting. So in other news from the U.S., Karine Jean-Pierre was the White House spokeswoman, African-American, not African-American, actually. She's Haitian-American, Black, but Haitian-American. I'm saying this so you'd know who she was. She was the Black woman, not the white woman who was there before. She has a new book called Independent, and she's declaring herself independent of the Democratic Party. Now, she was a big organizer for Move On. I mean, she is like a big liberal. She is saying that she's no longer a Democrat because she thinks the Democrats and the Republicans are both screwed up. You're leaving us. Beep, 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 beep. Because she thinks the Democrats and the Republicans are both screwed up. It's pretty bad. Let me read you the summary of her book, a quick little paragraph, okay? Jean-Pierre didn't come to her decision to become an independent lightly. She has served two American presidents, Obama and Biden. In 2020, she joined Biden's campaign as a senior advisor, becoming Kamala Harris's chief of staff, and then 2 years later, White House press secretary. She takes us through in her book. Listen to this, okay? So this is her book describe the publisher of the book describing her book. Listen to this line. Her book takes us through the 3 weeks that led to Joe Biden abandoning his bid for a second term and the betrayal by the Democratic Party that led to his decision. She's leaving the Democratic Party and becoming an independent because she faults the Democratic Party for basically forcing Joe Biden to not run again when he wasn't qualified to run again and clearly was losing his mind and his not just his mind, but I mean, the man was falling apart at the seams. He was clearly way too old to be president. While he was president, he was too old to be president. I'm sorry. I'm happy to say it. She's becoming an independent because because of the betrayal by the Democratic Party that led to Biden deciding not to run again. She says the Biden people, Aldo, you're leaving us, a coup. I love the crazy people with their it's a coup. Aldo, it's not. See, okay. The problem is we're dealing with people who aren't American, are un-American, are fascist. And I can appreciate that. The MAGA people, there's kind of scary stuff going on there. The MAGA people did try to violently overthrow the government. They don't really appreciate democracy. So let me explain this for Aldo. In a democracy, we vote, and the person who wins the vote gets to be president, even if they're a cult leader like Donald Trump, even if they're a convicted felon 34 times over like Donald Trump. They get to be president because that's what happens in democracies. Joe Biden won the election and he gets to be president. It's not a coup when he gets to be president. Then we follow the process of electing the new president, and Kamala Harris got to be the person. That's the way it works. Thank you, QT Cub. Republicans just love these conspiracy theories. It's sad. Not Republicans, but the problem is the MAGA people are Republicans. They do represent the party now. And there's a weird conspiracy thing there that I don't quite understand. It's a lack of wanting to sort of accept reality. Well, these are the same people that claimed Trump won the election in 2020. The lies and the conspiracies are unfortunately rather strong. In any case, so yeah, she left. So Biden's spokeswoman left the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party betrayed Joe Biden by forcing Biden to step down from running for president when Biden was wholly unfit to be president. I'm sorry. We can talk about it now. I think he was unfit, frankly. In that last year, I don't think he was fit. He certainly wasn't fit to run again, to be president again. No way. I'm not convinced he was terribly fit his last year. Then again, Ronald Reagan wasn't fit and Republicans knew it and elected him again. Ronald Reagan hid the fact that he had Alzheimer's, his second term. Alzheimer's. Right. But to claim that you're leaving the party because you're angry at Democrats for forcing Biden, mind you, Democrats forced Biden to do what Biden promised in 2000. Biden promised he was going to beat Donald Trump and run one term because he knew he was old and he wasn't going to run again. And 2 years in, Biden was like, this is kind of fun. I'm going to stay and run again, even though he was obviously older than, Moses. And he decided to stay. So, yeah, Democrats finally intervened, thank God, to convince Biden not to run again, thank God. And the reason they had to do it is because Biden lied. Biden went back on his promise. Biden promised he was only going to run for one term, and he tried to run for two. No, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to beat up on Biden for this kind of stuff, but like the man was, I literally laugh at you if you think Biden was qualified to be president for another term. I don't even think it's not even debatable, right? It's not even debatable that he was not qualified. Not qualified. He wasn't healthy enough. He was too old and he was falling apart. It's one thing to say, oh no, but it's one thing to say that again, he was elected president, he gets to be president. He was too old in his last year, but that's fine. He was still there. He was just too old, but, well, Craney, here's the problem. Biden was not going to win the election. Biden was going to lose the election by so much, it wasn't even funny. Trump was like going to get 99% of the votes. Nobody was going to vote for Biden. I mean, core Democrats were going to vote for Biden. Nobody was going to. Only because the person just said on TikTok, fair point, what did we get out of turning on Biden? Well, we were going to lose the election. What we got was a chance to win the election. But let's not forget, we were going to lose the election. The election was lost with Biden, right? The American people hated him. He was senile and old and losing it. And he was. Are we forgetting the debate? Seriously, are we forgetting the debate? Again, this has nothing to do with whether you like Biden. He got too old. The debate, right? Janine just said, that first debate, he lost and it was over. Can you imagine him? He was thinking of a second debate, guys. Remember? He was thinking of a second debate. Thank you, Bowie. Thank you, Terry. No, like Biden lost the election. And the question at that point was a Hail Mary, which I don't play sports, but I know enough about Hail Marys. Hail Mary in American football is basically when you're about to lose the game and you do one last crazy move that probably won't work, but maybe it will. Thank you, Marty, for subscribing. I don't know if Hail Marys have to be like throwing the ball really far. It might be even throwing the ball really far where you're probably not going to win, but there's a 1% chance, but it's worth trying because if you don't do the Hail Mary, you've lost completely. So the point was Biden lost a long shot, exactly. But Biden lost the election. He lost it. He lost. And the question for Democrats was, do we either accept the fact that Biden lost and we don't want to be mean to him by telling him to get the F out of here when he promised to get the F out of here and then he ran again and broke his promise? Or do we want to force Biden to step down and at least have a chance of winning? Yeah, the hubris did get him. Then again, but remember Ruth Bader Ginsburg did the same thing, right? She did the exact same thing, it's unfortunate, but what do you do? trying to see. Let's see what this does. I have a new rice cooker, and it's confusing me. I'm watching it, and I'm watching it from the corner of my eye, and I'm like, what are you doing? I tried to set it on a delayed timer, and the instructions were very weird. So it's possible the rice is going to be done a little early, but that's okay. We're going to find out. In any case, it's very weird. I'm not sure. It's spinning. We'll let it go. It's spinning on me. And as I'm talking to you, and I'm going, what is going on here? In any case, so yeah, I get a little annoyed. Inflation. This is wild. The big news today, our inflation data may be wrong. The inflation data coming from the government may be wrong. We found out because Trump fired too many people. Literally, guys, this was the big story today that we now, the Palestinians are coming to harass us. There's a surprise. Do you really want me to talk about 100 years of Palestinian terrorism? Because every single time you guys try to invade the show, I'm going to remind people that for the last 100 years, Palestinians have been committing acts of terrorism. And that was a big reason why the current conflict came to a head. So there you go. See? Let's get back to our news. But again, every time they do this, we're going to remind people because they interrupt my show every day. So every day you do it, I'm going to remind people of the fact that Palestinians have 100 years of horrific terrorism killing babies and women and children. So, all right, let's go on. Inflation data. Listen to this. Some economists are beginning to question the accuracy of recent U.S. inflation data after the federal government said staffing shortages hampered its ability to conduct a massive monthly survey. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, the office that publishes the inflation rate, told outside economists this week that a hiring freeze at the agency was forcing the survey to cut back on the number of businesses where it checks prices to determine inflation. In last month's inflation report, which examined prices in April, government statisticians had to use a less precise method for guessing price changes more extensively than they did in the past. Economists said the staffing shortages raise questions about the quality of recent and upcoming inflation reports. Thank you, Dave. There is no sign of an intentional effort to publish false or misleading statistics, but any problems with the data could have major implications. So Trump's and Elon's staff cuts have now threatened the fact, not threatened, we can no longer trust inflation data. I like the troll here. This troll is fabulous. By the way, that troll's leaving. But non-story. Yeah, it's totally not a story if investors can no longer trust U.S. inflation data. Totally not a story. I mean, who cares about buying bonds and whether you pay a certain rate for a bond and whether you get a certain yield for a bond, which is basically the interest rate you get on a bond? Who cares when buying an interest rate on a bond or putting money in a CD, for example? If the inflation rate is actually much worse than we think because the Trump people fired all the people who determined what is the inflation rate, right? Who cares if the inflation rate is actually 5% and you buy a bond for 3% yield, or you buy a CD for 4% yield and the inflation rate's really 5%, so now you're losing money. Who cares? That affects Wall Street. That affects investors directly. Thank you, Dave. Absolutely, positively affects them directly. Thank you, Smurfit. It is hugely important to the U.S. economy if investors in America have no idea. And by the way, you know what's the most important here? You know what's the most important? Is our debt. They buy our bonds, our government bonds, to pay off our debt, not to pay off our debt, to subsidize our debt because we don't have enough money. And we sell the bonds to raise more money to basically spend on Trump's tax cut, right? They won't buy our bonds unless the rate is high enough. The rate's got to be high enough to beat inflation. Otherwise, what's the point, right? They don't want to get a rate that's lower than inflation. If they can't trust the government inflation rate, it screws everything up. Everything up. I mean, this is a disaster. This kind of stuff didn't happen under Democrats. This kind of stuff didn't happen under Republicans before either. That's the thing. It never happened under George Bush. It never happened under Ronald Reagan. It never happened under George Bush II. It never happened under Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. Guess who it happened under? Donald Trump, where now we can't even trust the government economic data because they got rid of too many people and they're not letting them hire anybody else. I mean, damn. It boggles my mind how bad these people are, how bad they are at governing, how bad they are at science, how bad they are at math, how bad they are at economics. And again, guys, we elected people who don't believe in expertise, right? Right? We elected people who mock experts, who think if you're an expert, you're bad, right? Who think if you're a scientist, you're bad, right? Well, big surprise, they got rid of the experts who determine inflation, who determine how our economy is doing. And that now we can't trust the data, right? We can't trust the data coming out of our health ministry, Health and Human Services. We found that out the other day. They put out a big report. This was fun. Actually, I don't know how I missed this. They put out a big report. I think it came out over the weekend or Friday. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. put out a big report, and it claimed all these ridiculous things. You know how he's always claiming fake science stuff. Thank you, Claire. And they had all the footnotes to prove everything was right. Well, the footnotes were all fake. One of his staff used ChatGPT to write the entire report. And of course, ChatGPT being ChatGPT, it just made it up. Remember, I warned you about this. ChatGPT makes stuff up. Well, it made it up. It put fake footnotes. The footnotes were literally fake in the report. And Kennedy issued the report as coming from him. Oh, his big report about, all the lies that he's going to correct as president or whatever. Or not as president, as health secretary. I mean, man, unbelievable. Finally, and then we'll go to Ukraine news. Trump is removing the name of Harvey Milk from a boat. Trump is removing the names. I've got to do a video on this on TikTok after we're done. Trump is removing the name of civil rights leaders from military ships. He decided to wait for Pride. It's Pride Month, LGBT, gay pride. And he's removing the name of Harvey Milk, who is one of the most famous civil rights leaders in history, in American history, died a long time ago. But one of the most famous, was assassinated actually in California in the 1970s. Super famous guy. And he was also former military. And Trump's removing his name from the boat because he's gay. Because he's gay, he's removing his name from the boat. I mean, guys, this is, I can't believe they're getting away with it, but they're getting away with it, right? They're bashing gays. They're bashing blacks. They're bashing women. They're bashing Jews. They're bashing Native Americans. They took the name of the Native American off the website. One of the heroes of Iwo Jima was Native American, Indian actually. He goes by, right? Thank you, Succeed for the wings. Thank you, Tarad. They took his name off the federal website because he was honored as one of the Iwo Jima Memorial. It's a famous thing in American history, World War II. And he was being honored on the website because he's Native American. They removed it. What was some of the other stuff they did? Remember? They banned mention of the Tuskegee Airmen from the Air Force training manuals. There was such an outcry about that, they had to bring it back. But Tuskegee Airmen were famous black pilots in World War II. And they banned it because they didn't want to teach U.S. soldiers about black people, about famous black heroes would be bad. What were the other ones, guys? Remind me. Remember at the not the Spy Museum. It was the National Cryptological Museum, which is apparently affiliated with the government. They removed, they actually covered up 2 big displays honoring women and minorities who were basically American spies, like code breakers, but American code breakers in World War II and afterwards. And there were 2 big panels with pictures of the women, and some of them were black and some were white. And they had to put sheets to cover them up because we weren't allowed to honor women. No, it's the code. I don't even remember what happened with the code talkers. I can't even remember all of this now, right? I mean, they're removing, like I said, the Harvey Milk from a boat because he's gay. And they don't want an American naval ship named after a gay guy. Oh, the Enola Gay. Oh my God. Remember the Enola Gay? For a while there, they banned mention of the Enola Gay at the Pentagon. They removed it from the documents. The Enola Gay was the bomber. It was one of the bombers that the U.S. used to drop the bomb on Japan. I forget which one. Was it Hiroshima? I forget which one. Gunther will know. Gunther knows everything, but one of you guys will. The Enola Gay. right? It's famous plane named after like the pilot's mom or grandma or something. And they banned mention. Thank you for the wings. Who is that? Flower Lady. Thank you. PTK as well. PTX. They banned mentions. Hiroshima Martin says they banned the mention of the plane Enola Gay because the last name of the plane is Gay. Right? They literally banned it because it's gay. Because the name is Enola Gay. It's gay. Right? Now, what did they do to the code talkers? I don't quite remember. What did they do with the Navajo code talkers? I'm forgetting now. I'm totally forgetting what they did with the code. I'm trying to remember, like, I need a list of these things so that they're like up next to me when they do the next one. What did they do with the code talkers? There was something else, wasn't there? What else the cemetery, Arlington Cemetery, Arlington National Cemetery, our famous national cemetery, right? It is starting. I can tell it's cooking the rice. Okay. So the rice is going to be ready at 7:00. That's okay. Arlington National Cemetery. The cemetery was segregated. I did not know this, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Oh, Harriet Tubman. That's right. They erased Harriet Tubman, who was famous African-American who helped slaves escape, or former slaves escape the South. Or slaves. The Arlington National Cemetery, our national cemetery, they used to be segregated so they wouldn't bury, and again, imagine this, they wouldn't bury white soldiers with black soldiers, right? Like, give me a break. Because of this, in modern times, thank you, Luna, thank you, Jetta, in modern times, because the black people were all buried in one corner far away, the website would give you a map so you could find the black section of the cemetery, because literally, right, they were hidden in a corner far away because they were black. So the website, to honor them, now that we try not to be racist anymore, had a map showing you where the black soldiers were buried. They removed it from the website. Trump did. Because the map is honoring black soldiers, and we're not supposed to honor black soldiers. I mean, guys, this stuff is sick what they're doing. They got rid of Black History Month. They got rid of Asian American History Month. No, this stuff is sick. It really boggles my mind. I mean, how bad this is. Really, anyway, it's like I said, it's very upsetting. It's really very upsetting. Anyway, all right, what else we got here? Let's talk about Ukraine. So it is day 1,196 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation. Thank you, Cynthia, for the hat and mustache. Putin, well, this was kind of funny. I'm sorry, I found this kind of stupid. Trump talked to Putin, and Trump puts out a tweet. Putin told me he's going to respond to the Ukrainian attacks on the Russian planes and the bridge. I'm like, yeah, this is news. I mean, everyone's talking. The New York Times, breaking news. And I'm like, what is that? What is, like, it's, thank you, Heather. Thank you, Randy. I think we have a troll who doesn't speak English. I think so. Hard to know if that person's a troll, but whatever they're writing isn't English, which is making me laugh a little bit. Thank you, Fallen. Thank you, Mustard. But the, right? I mean, Putin's threatening to respond. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Wendy. You know what I mean? Like, okay. New video released by the Ukrainians, actually good video, showing a lot of the hits on the planes. One interesting thing was, so Ukraine, right? We know this, Ukraine took out like maybe even half of the operational Russian nuclear bombers, the operational ones. And they released new video today. And the video was interesting because it showed the Ukrainian drones literally like hovering over these planes. Thank you, Addie. Thank you, Mustard, Fallen. It showed the drones hovering over the planes, and how basically they had the time, because the Russians had no defense whatsoever. They had time to go and look at the plane and literally figure out exactly what part of the plane to hit so they could blow up the fuel. Because previously the Ukrainians would just hit the planes thinking they might blow up, and they didn't blow up. This time, and the video is amazing because literally you see the drone get over the plane and kind of hesitate, and it looks around and then goes for the fuel tank. Really, I mean, really amazing. Yeah, the trolls are out because Russia's, embarrassed, right? Russia got embarrassed twice by the Ukrainians. Big bad, the bear, the Russian bear, got 2 black eyes by the Ukrainians going after their nuclear bombers. Half of them may have been destroyed, the operational ones, and going after their bridge. The Ukrainians attacked the bridge too. What else we got here? Now, it is possible. One bit of news we did have today. I was asking Preston Stewart about this. It is possible that the A-50, the AWACS aircraft that the Ukrainians hit of the Russians might have been fake. Not fake, but they might have been decommissioned planes that were no longer being used. There was some analysis suggesting that might be the case. Thank you, Crazy. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Mac. Just thought I'd mention it. Yeah, Martin's bringing it up now too. Yep, just thought I'd mention it. So it's possible, unfortunately, those might have been decoys. The only thing is they weren't quite decoys. They were planes that like still could have been used for spare parts potentially, and the Russians let them get blown up anyway, which was kind of stupid, to be honest, but whatever. What do you do? Now, but I got to tell you, it's important to note, though, because I told you, I try to give you the truth of what's actually going on here. Thank you, Addie. Thank you, Mac58. This made me laugh. Russia Today blamed the West for Ukraine's attacks on Russia because the West has been supplying Ukraine. Yeah, we have been and we are to blame. Yeah. Yeah. We're to blame for 1 million Russian casualties. I mean, the Ukrainians are to blame, number one, but we're to blame. Yeah, we are. For 1 million Russian casualties, proudly to blame. Russian troops? Yeah. Yeah. I just wish the Europeans, I mean, Trump won't do it, but I wish the Europeans would, like the Brits, would just turn around and go, hell yeah. We're to blame for your 1 million casualties? Hell yeah. Right? I mean, Ukraine gets credit first, right? Because Ukraine's the one fighting the war. They get credit first. But if the Russians want to claim you're to blame as well because you're helping the Ukrainians, hell yeah. Proud of it. Super. Right. That was, as Yoga said, that was the goal. Exactly. The goal was to supply Ukraine with weapons so they would destroy the Russian military. Yeah. I just think like, because the problem is when Russia says stuff like this and we don't respond, it makes us look guilty, right? It makes us look, because it makes it look like Russia's giving some kind of serious accusation or something like, look what you did. You're to blame. And we don't respond, and it makes the world go, ooh, maybe they are to blame, right? Rather than us going, hell yeah, proud of it, to blame and proud of it, right? Exactly. And Russia's to blame for starting the war, as Terry D just said. But anyway, they called them terrorist attacks, which made me laugh. The Ukrainian attack on the bridge were terrorist attacks. The Ukrainian attacks on the planes were terrorist, which I love that one, terrorist attacks. Really? Attacking a military plane is a terrorist attack? Really? How's that work exactly? I don't quite understand this. Nuclear stuff. I've got a lot of stuff on the nuclear stuff, but I think it's interesting. Michael Clark is a defense analyst at Sky News. Alexa, raise the temperature 1 degree. Sorry, it's getting a little cold in here. Michael Clark, defense analyst at Sky News, and he had a very interesting analysis of the threat of Putin using nukes. Right? First he talked about he doesn't think Putin's going to use. In other words, like, oh, will Putin get angry enough to use nukes? No. He doesn't think Putin, basically nukes, like I've been saying, there's really no reason to use them, and it would blow up in Putin's face figuratively. Listen to this. He said they would have to use 5 or 6 Hiroshima-sized bombs to destroy even one Ukrainian brigade of soldiers, dispersed as they normally are, because the brigades, I'm forgetting if the brigades are 3 to 5, somebody help me out here. I don't have it in front of me, but is it like 3,000 to 5,000 troops or something? Just to destroy those troops, you would need 5 or 6 nuclear bombs because the troops are spread out over such a distance. Like one bomb wouldn't take out that many troops. Atlanta Dog is saying 5,000, right? But you've got hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian troops, right? So you'd need 5 or 6 nuclear bombs just to take out like 5,000 Ukrainian troops, right? So you'd have to have a massive number. Thank you, Wayne. He says they would have to go in for a nuclear war in a big way. And even then, it would only destroy one Ukrainian brigade. He says, well, then he talked about bridges, because when I read this originally, I thought it said bridge instead of brigade. And I thought, a nuclear bomb doesn't destroy a bridge? Let me read you what this is from ChatGPT. It was quite interesting. It said, a nuke could destroy a bridge, but A precision conventional strike is often better, cheaper, and politically safer. Tactical nukes are not designed for pinpoint destruction. Their shockwave might not even hit the most vulnerable part of the bridge. Using a nuke on a bridge would be massive overkill with huge political consequences and radioactive fallout. For what could be achieved with cruise missiles or drones, a 500-pound bomb dropped in the right place can do more damage to a bridge than a 10-kiloton blast that's 100 meters off target. That was the most interesting to me, was basically if they used a nuke on a bridge, for example, and they were 100 meters, 300 feet off, they would do less damage than if they hit the bridge with a conventional bomb. Just thought that was very interesting. He mentioned the same thing of how why else Russia wouldn't use it. It wouldn't change the war. It wouldn't do enough damage. It would have huge backlash from China and India. It would also risk NATO involvement. Now, on the NATO involvement part, I thought this was interesting. He talked about Trump, and he said under Joe Biden, previous governments, if Russia were to use nukes, the Americans would have gotten involved and used their conventional weapons to destroy a good deal of Russia's forces, especially the forces that launched the nukes. Under Trump, he said he doesn't see that happening. He doesn't see Trump doing anything to fight back against Russia, even if they use nukes. That's a concern I've got, right? Now, the Europeans would. I think Britain and the rest of Europe might go to war with Russia, and then America doesn't have much of a choice if they use nukes, but Trump wouldn't. He mentioned, now this was interesting to me because this is something I had not considered or thought about. He says, in terms of what Putin will do to respond to these recent Ukrainian strikes, 4 or 5 days of very intensive air attacks are a likely response, but you cannot rule out the idea that the Russians might begin to step over the threshold, say, in biological warfare and chemical warfare. He said there are lots of reports of Moscow using gas and nerve agents. It is not impossible that they might go for their own sort of spectacular attack with a biological attack on the civilian population somewhere. That I thought was kind of scary. Yeah. Again, Europeans better be ready to respond because Trump won't. Germany is pushing for new sanctions on Russia, and Berlin is launching a program to purchase Patriot air defense systems from other countries before transferring them to Ukraine, which is very good. All right. Let's hang and chat. That was it for the news today. We got 15, 20 minutes since I'm preserving my voice again, and my rice is cooking now that I know how to use the delayed timer on my rice cooker. I wanted it to go on it. Well, it's fine. This technology written engineers. I have a big pet peeve about engineers who write or whoever writes descriptions, instructions for technology, because either they're not American, they're not Anglophones, or they're just engineers and they're not people. But they never write stuff clear. And I'm reading this anyway. It just drives me a little crazy. My rice should not be soggy. It will keep it warm. I've got a rice cooker. I have never had one, but it was on super sale on Amazon, so I got it. No, it drives me crazy, these instructions on these things. It really does. Again, this thing just was written poorly. Anyway, it's okay. A genuine guy. Thank you, Ken. I am genuine. I'm AI. What do I think Russia's response will be? They're going to blow the hell out of Ukraine. As Michael Clark just said, they're going to blow the crap out of Ukraine for several days in a row. Lots of missiles, lots of drones. That's what I think. I don't know that there was a submarine-based bombing. I'm not sure there was hardly. There was an initial talk about the well, it soaks in water. No, it's not. I Googled that actually, man with no name. Supposedly the rice, jasmine rice, for example, can benefit from sitting in water for 2 hours before it heats up. I read. Who knows? Anyway, thank you, Shelby, for the gift. Keep them coming, guys. Ryan says, as someone from the UK, if we ended up directly involved versus Russia, do you think the US will react if we are directly attacked? Depends. It depends. I did wash my rice. It depends. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Lita. The U.S. typically would get involved. If the Brits went to war with the Russians, we'd go to war with the Russians. Under Trump, who the hell knows? If for example, if you were attacked, what does that mean? Right? I mean, if a British military ship blows up and you can't totally prove it was Russia, right? Like first of all, the Russians are very good at doing things that are just shy of a maybe not just shy of an act of war, but just shy of an act of war that would lead to war. For Russia's committed multiple acts of war, right? I mean, they were trying to blow up DHL packages. They were practicing blowing up DHL packages going to America and Canada. They put out an assassination on the they didn't pull it off, but they tried to assassinate the head of Rheinmetall, Germany's largest defense contractor, or one of its largest, right? Those are acts of war, but they know they're acts of war that wouldn't lead us to war. So that's the first thing, is I think like what they do versus the Brits would be short of an act of war. If they actually went to war, Europe would come to your aid. And if all of Europe came to your aid, which I think they would, other than Hungary and Slovakia, I think it would be hard for the Americans to stay out. Trump would want to stay out. I think a lot of Republicans in Congress would freak out. Again, the Republicans in Congress are very subservient to Trump, so who knows, right? But I don't know. It's scary though. Yeah, because I don't trust Trump at all. The U.S. won't sell F-35s to Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think part of the concern might be we don't want the F-35s getting anywhere near Russia, would be my concern. That may be part of it, right? The plane goes down and the Russians get a hold of it. I mean, you'd have to talk to somebody who's a better defense expert than me or than I, but that I think would be of concern. I did rinse my rice a lot. Yes, I read that you had to. It's annoying. I've never rinsed rice before, but I was making jasmine rice, although it smells incredible. It's like filling up the whole room with the jasmine rice smell. It's really nice. Anyway. Oh, la, la, la. Excuse me. Everyone said jasmine rice. I had to rinse the hell out of it. So I rinsed the hell out of it. Seems a bit, I don't know. Anyway, Trump said he would come to Britain. Interesting. What else? Yeah, we're going to talk food now. You're all getting me talking about food. But I think I will bet you a big concern is the technology getting too close to Russia. I think so. Yes, I finally got a rice. You're going to make me talk food. I finally got a rice cooker. After all these decades, I was tempted. I waited. I saw one on Amazon I liked. It was cheap, highly recommended, $35. And I put a reminder on it and waited till the price. I use Camel, a great website, by the way, to check Amazon prices. And when the price dropped to $29, I got a notification and I bought it. So I got it on sale. So I'm feeling better. And it never goes below that price. So I was like, okay, I'll buy it. Anyway, but yes, I rinsed it. I'm feeling fine. Just my throat's scratchy, although it's being a little pretty good right now. So anyway. Oh gosh. Air fryers. I just don't want too much equipment. I would try an air fryer. I just don't want, like, this is already another piece of equipment. You know what I mean? I don't want too many of them. You worked as a Chinese chef years ago? Oh, that's fun. Well, no, my voice is being much better though. So I'm keeping it. I'm trying to talk less forcefully and keeping the show to like a little over an hour so that I don't force my voice more. But I do need to be careful with that because exactly, I can't afford to have my voice go bad. Nodules and all that scary stuff people get. Get an air fryer in your oven? Well, when my oven dies, we'll have to see whether I get one of those convection ovens or I mean, not convection ovens, those stovetops. Are they convection stovetops? What do they call them? Those magnetic, electromagnet stovetops. Convection? What are they? Convection? I forget what they're called now. But they're pretty cool. I forgot where I was where somebody had one and I tried it out. Now, we're in Italy. They had one in Italy. Induction. Thank you, Joshua. Induction. They had them in Italy, in the apartment we were staying in Rome. The coolest thing. I mean, like, it was pretty creepy. Like, the water just heated up immediately. And the other cool thing, it was like, the coffee, it was like a little espresso maker. The espresso maker made coffee in a minute. And then of course, which but still the stovetop was totally cold, which was crazy afterwards. Very weird stuff, but I worry about what equipment I've got and whether it would work with induction. You know what I mean? That's a concern. So we'd have to, anyway, someday when my stove dies, although maybe I should be thinking about it now because my stove is 20 years old. At some point, it'll die, I guess. So we're doing pretty well, though. Stove in the oven. Oh, Palestinian supporters coming to harass us because you want me to remind people that Palestinians are responsible for 100 years of terrorism in the Middle East and around the world, killing innocent people. Okay, I will do that. Congratulations. Every single time you come back to the show and you try to interrupt the show, like you guys do every day, I'm going to remind people that Palestinians are responsible for horrific acts of terrorism. Really, the original terrorists in the Middle East, unfortunately, was the Palestinian movement. So, yeah, keep it up, folks. Keep it up. Happy to talk about you every day. Back to our regularly scheduled show. So you guys don't get to see it, but on my end, these Palestinian people come in every day. It interrupts the show on my end because they try to join and join as a guest. And I get this big obnoxious pop-up that pops up on my screen. It's very obnoxious. And they do it literally twice a show every freaking day. It's obnoxious as hell. Which is why I'm going to punish them every time they do it by reminding you of Palestinian terrorism and the history of it, which a lot of young people are not familiar with, actually. You're familiar with Israel, which is very bad, what Israel has done in the last 20 years. What you're not familiar with is what the Palestinians have done in the last 100 years, which is just as bad as what Israel has done. And unfortunately, I did turn off the invites. Didn't work, by the way, which is really obnoxious, Elizabeth. I turned off the only thing I'm wondering now is whether it resets is an interesting question because I did turn it off. It's really obnoxious. Now I've got to figure out where it is. I think it's under guests. Let me see. It was under guests. No, it says for more guests, allow requests from viewers. It's turned off and these morons are still coming and joining. I have no idea why it's allowing them to come. It's off. Yeah. Multi-guest extra rewards. I wonder if that's the problem, but yeah. Allow requests from viewers off. I have no idea why it's doing this. Yeah. They're not allowed to, and they come and they harass me every day. It's really annoying. I don't know what it is. Whatever. Special pot. Well, you need special pots for induction, but not always. Jeff, you're saying that as if there's someone to report it to. Have you reported it to TikTok? I mean, sometimes the support people do exist. I should try. I think I'll try. Why not? You're right. I'll try. Because somehow they manage it and it's obnoxious as hell. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but somehow every show, and it's the same two people. It's that obnoxious Ahmed and then this woman, and they've got all the Palestinian flags all over their thing and they're wearing keffiyehs. It's really obnoxious. I mean, it's their Palestinian profiles. It's clear. Yeah. So very obnoxious. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how they're finding it though, because you guys can't find the join link. I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. The thing is, I wish I could find them to ban them is what I need to do, but I can't find them. So too bad. If they'd make a comment, we could ban them. Look for Ahmed. Anyway, what else, guys? We got a couple more minutes and then I'm going to go to protect the voice. Do we really need special pots for induction? I thought some of your pots work with induction. Is that not the case? That some of them do? Yep. I keep looking at my rice maker. Cast iron? Yeah. I think you can take a little time out, crazy person. Yeah, crazy person is going to take a little time out. Bye-bye. My guest button it should be missing. I turned it off, but the pots have to be steel or iron. What else are they? Aluminum, you mean? Like, will my Le Creuset pots work? Which would be very annoying if they didn't. Or my cast iron pots? What, so stainless steel doesn't, or what? Got rid of half of our cookware? No aluminum. Okay. I don't know that I have I guess you're right. I do have aluminum pots though. You're right. You're right about that. I wasn't thinking that. I probably do have aluminum pots. My metal pots that I use just for making pasta and stuff. That's true. Yeah. So the enamelware does. Yours did not, Zerpachi says. Oh, that's interesting. If a magnet sticks, you're okay. The flat bottom. That's an issue too. Great. Corning glass. Wow. God. Enameled cast iron work very well on induction. Okay. Le Creuset's cast iron. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. So the magnet means it works. All right. We don't have gas here. So when my stove finally dies, I have to get a new electric stove. So, yes, Deb, I could have, are you trying to be like the other Deb today, Deb? Are you being snarky, or was that regarding something else? Don't be snarky. We like to keep you separate from the other Deb. Yes, the reason I ask these things during the show is because it benefits other people. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to ask any of this, and I could just Google myself. But I find it interesting to have the discussion with you all, and I think it benefits everybody when we have these discussions. So that is why I don't just Google it after the show. So non-magnetic pans won't work. Okay, I'll Google it. That's interesting. Okay, all right. Interesting. You'd want to ask me a personal question? Yeah, I don't think so. And especially the way you set it up. When you tell somebody in advance, I'd like to ask you a personal question, then it's even creepier, to be honest. So it's sort of like can I ask you something? And you're like, oh God, this is never going to be good when you have to say, can I ask you something? So, I mean, you never know. Personal questions aren't always that personal. Yep. See, 9 minutes left on the cooker. Okay. So we now know my rice cooker, when it says time delay, which is really stupid. Okay. This is a little stupid. He's a crypto guy. Oh, then block. If he's a crypto guy, just block him. Yeah. But the rice cooker is pissing me off because it has a delayed timer. This is what's kind of stupid. It has a delayed timer, but the delayed timer is by hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That's the first problem. Like, why not let me pick the time, or at least give me half hours, right? But hours. The second thing is, when you delay it 2 hours, it doesn't tell you this in the instructions. It means the rice will be done in 2 hours. So it actually delayed it 90 minutes, right? Like, I'm like, what? So it's not even a delay. You get it. So it tricked me. I'm a little annoyed. It's okay though, because actually we're going to be done in a few minutes. So in essence, the rice will actually be done when I'm done with the show. So it's not a bad thing, but I'm very curious. Yes. The FEMA head did not know there's a hurricane. Well, I saw the FEMA head did not have a plan for the hurricane season. I didn't see if he actually didn't know about it. You'll want to leave cooked rice for half an hour too. What does that mean, Deb? Typically, I make rice on the stovetop and then I let it sit for 5 minutes usually. I never let it sit for longer. I'm getting a little bit of a whine. Hello. Hi. What are you begging for now? Oh my God. Look at this. Once again, I heard a little whine. She was on the couch. This is her latest thing. She stands on the edge of the couch and looks at me. What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know what you're doing. She was on the couch. She woke up and she goes, and I'm like, what? Now she's going to want water, of course. Anyway, sit for 15 minutes without taking the lid off. Now, with my rice maker, do I let that sit? Or the dog wants water. Let you think about this for a moment. Now she wants water, of course. Now you want water. Big surprise there. Big surprise there. All right. But yeah, after the rice is done in the rice cooker, do you let it sit in the rice cooker for a few minutes? It didn't say to. Good night, Colin. You know? Deb says let it sit. Oh, the crispy stuff. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's how they do the crispy stuff. That's interesting. Well, I guess you could do it in a pan too. A towel under the lid while it cooks? Huh. 10 minutes. Interesting. Well, I mean, I know with rice on a stovetop, when it's done, you take it off the heat and let it sit 5 minutes to kind of absorb and it gets fluffier. It said to fluff it. You let it sit. So but I'm talking in a rice maker. We're not talking stovetop here, guys. Right? We're talking a rice maker. Oh, Trevor Corness says, Masterclass says, let jasmine sit in a rice cooker 10 to 20 minutes. Wow. I don't know what Masterclass is, but I'm guessing by the name, it's good. Interesting. Yeah, I was going to say crispy would be pan frying. Exactly. Generally speaking. It's not a glass see-through lid. No. Sasha does have a very good clock. Yes. It switches to warm anyway when it's done, but interesting. Let it sit in the rice cooker 10 to 20 minutes. Interesting. I had never heard of Masterclass. They are good. Okay. Oh, Gordon Ramsay. Okay. All right. Interesting. I'd never heard of this. So what's the concept? That it'll make it a little less moist and fluffy or whatever? Oh, I don't know the brand. I could tell you it was cheap, but highly recommended. It starts with an A. What is it? Aroma. It was cheap. It's usually like $34, $35. It was down to $29, which is the lowest it gets, but it also was super highly recommended. Reviews were good, but also online, the reviews were good. So I was like, you know what? You have the same. That's funny. I mean, it's cheap. And I decided to make jasmine rice. Maddie's got it too. Okay. So you guys do like it. Do you typically let your rice sit in it once it's done? So I'm looking at this now again. Yes, you do. Let me see. Should I let my rice sit in the rice cooker for a certain period of time after it is finished, will that make it better, I'm doing jasmine rice, but I have the same question for white rice. Let's see. Only because ChatGPT, letting rice sit in the rice cooker, rest for 10 to 15 minutes after it finishes cooking is a great idea for both jasmine and white. Why let it sit? Steam redistributes, moisture settles evenly throughout the pot, so top rice isn't too dry, bottom isn't too wet. Texture improves, grains firm up slightly and separate more easily. Prevents mushiness. Interesting. More? Are you kidding me? Ugh, I didn't give her enough water. Are you kidding me? You're interrupting my show, dog. Interrupting my show. There. All right. Interesting. All right. Prevents mushiness. Let the rice sit in the cooker with the lid closed for 10 to 15 minutes after the cooking cycle ends. Then gently fluff with a fork or the rice paddle. Jasmine, white, long range, short grain, brown rice. Ugh, never eating brown rice. Don't lift the lid immediately. Don't stir before resting. Okay. Interesting. But you were saying 10 to 20 minutes, Masterclass said. Wow. Well, why 10 to 20? What's the difference? Is 20 better? So should I give it 15 minutes? I can. You know, it likes to hang out. It hangs out, talks with the other rice, has a cig while it's waiting. Interesting. Huh. 15 minutes is okay. All right. Well, since it says 10 to, it's a long time. 2 minutes left. So if it's 15, I'll set a timer for 17. Oops, hang on. Set a timer for 17 minutes. Okay. I set my timer. Interesting. All right. Oh. Did it set my timer? No. Now I don't know if it set the timer. Oh, are you kidding me? Set a timer for 17 minutes. Okay. It got rid of this is driving me crazy. Timers. There we go. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Okay. It's here. Yep. It was hiding it from me, but it's here. All right. I will let it go 15 minutes, then fluff it with the spatula. Well, it gave me the weird spoon, but I wasn't quite sure I guess the spoon is to get it out. I was like, okay, kind of weird. Well, you'd think the rice cooker would know when it's done, right? But even you guys with the aroma, let it sit. You know what I did? I like across the street. I only discovered this recently. They have orange chicken at the grocery store. Like in their deli counter thing, and it's actually quite good. So I go and I buy like 3 or 4 servings and bring it home because it's not cheap, but Oh, there we go. All right. But I buy like this was like $18, which was expensive, but I'll get a good 4 meals out of it. And I figure for $4 a meal, $4 of chicken, that's not bad. It's not good for you, but I love orange chicken. So every couple of weeks I buy orange chicken. I know it's not good for you. But I, since I make rice, I don't like having another device around. It's cheap, which is good. The device was, but I don't like having too many devices. It's just too much on the counter. You know what I mean? I may put my Cuisinart away. I had it, I was using it a lot. Now I'm using it less. So it's possible the Cuisinart is going to go back in the cabinet because that will give me more room. But my KitchenAid, I love my KitchenAid. That was the one I got at the estate sale. It's a wonderful 1970s KitchenAid that I got for $60 and it works amazingly. It's really nice. So if you chill rice overnight and then reheat it, it cuts the glycemic index in half. Really? Is that true? It's not like a wives' tale? That's nice if it's true. What was the chocolate on Amazon? Oh, you mean the pocket coffees? Pocket coffee. I think the brand is Ferrara. Is it Ferrara? But that's what you're talking about. The Italian coffee is like little espresso inside a chocolate, wet espresso. I think that's what you mean. The other one, I don't know if it's on Amazon. I've got another one I like, a French one that I like, the Nestle Corset. I don't know that that's on Amazon though. Is that the one you mean? You'd like to let your rice rest as well? Okay. Pocket coffee was the one. I've seen the guy. I follow the guy on TikTok that repairs old KitchenAids. Yes, Ned. I've seen him. But other friends turned me on to his. He's good. But yeah, no, my KitchenAid's great. I mean, $60. And I'm glad I waited because we saw some other ones. It's 4.5 quarts. I would have liked, I think quarts. I'd like bigger, but it's still pretty good. But it's from like 1973. So it's one of the Hobarts. It's one of the good ones. And it works great. And it was $60. And I'm like, yes. Quarts. Yep. I did not do a recap today. I don't think I will. Thank you, Martin. I mean, I do sometimes, but I've got to sort of go in a minute anyway, because I'm trying to, we're trying to be nice to my voice. So I typically, we're trying to keep this to, that's a commercial brand. What do you mean, Janice? Mike says, normally when we cook rice after it is boiled, we drain the water out. Oh, and put the pot back on, turn off the heat and put the pot back on the hot tub 10 to 15 minutes. Now, that's a whole other thing. I was reading about the Hobart. Yes, the Hobart's was a good one. The Hobarts are the good ones. Yeah. That's actually very interesting. Hey, really? Again? Get in here. I saw that. She's trying to eat stuff on the balcony again. That's my girl. Never done. I went and I bought orange chicken across the street in the deli counter. So of the grocery store. I'm like, yes. Rice with ice cream scoop. Huh. Well, why not? The dog's a menace. The dog is trouble. She is trouble. Rice with ice cream. That's interesting. A 20 quart. Oh my God. Ferrero is the brand. Thank you, Mike. I was trying to remember what the name of the brand was. Yeah. Anyway, I love my KitchenAid. It makes me happy. It still works incredibly well. So I'm like, perfect. You know what? Works for me. 11 more minutes, 12 more minutes, and my rice is done. All right. Anyway. Thanks, Curious. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it quits since we do try to sort of, we do sort of try to do this not too long so I don't scratch my voice anymore. Although the voice is getting better since I've been talking lower. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off then. All right. Hobart was the parent to KitchenAid, separated into commercial and home. KitchenAid is owned by Whirlpool. I remember that it got sold. I knew that. I didn't remember the details, but yeah. All right. Thanks, Deb. I did remember Hobart, like the Hobart's the good one. Oh, the back is very good now, Solomon. Thank God. The back is healed. There's still a little tingling. I went to the doctor today, actually. Little tingling on the tips of my fingers. And he was, interestingly enough, he was like, I don't love it, but because everything has been improving continually, you know what I mean? Je lui fais ma toilette. Je lui fais ma toilette, mais ça veut dire quoi exactement? Je crois que je suis d'accord, mais je comprends pas tout à fait. mais j'aime bien le sentiment. Somebody was attacking French and Trump and French, and I didn't quite understand what she meant, but I can get that the sentiment is good. I just didn't quite get the expression. Je lui fais ma toilette. I don't know what that means. Gunther, do we know what that means? All right, guys. All right, I'm going to hang up on Discord. Good night, guys. 1 second here. Boom. All right, bye, Jeffrey Manda. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what it means. Yeah. Oops. Hang on here. Doop. All right. YouTube, you guys are next. Beep, 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 beep. Well, I almost feel like it's a wrong translation, but unless Mercedes is Francophone, but it's not translating. I'm not entirely, I don't know. I'm going to copy this in case Mercedes actually is Francophone and it's an idiom that I'm not understanding, which is possible. Here, I'm copying it now. Although usually we have Francophones here though. Karine Jean-Pierre. Let me look right now just for fun. Just for fun, I'm going to look and then we're going to hang up. One moment here. Crop. Oops. What am I doing here? Crop. All right, let's try this. All right. I'm going to try to translate this. Google Translate. Oh, it's heavy to download. All right. La, 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 la. I know my rice, I've got another 5 minutes. My rice should be good. Again, I've never made jasmine rice. I was very excited. That was one of my requirements. I was like, I want a rice cooker that says it can cook jasmine rice okay. And it says it does. So I was like, okay, works for me. Because I had some the other day and I was like, okay, this jasmine rice thing is really good. A little expensive and not such a big serving. Thank you for the gifts, Janice and Elena. Come on, there's Google. Okay. Google Translate. From French to English. And camera. Here we go. Allow. Image. Allow. And voila. I'll wash your president. It's an idiom. Okay. It's got to be an idiom. Yeah. I don't understand it in English, but it's okay. All right, guys. YouTube, have a good night. Thanks, guys. All right. Good night, guys.